Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. Walk on the Wild Side is a 1962 American drama film that was directed by Edward Dmytryk. The movie starred Lawrence Harvey, Capucine, Jane Fonda, Ann Baxter, and Barbara Stanwyck. It was adapted from a 1956 novel titled A Walk on the Wild Side, written by an American named Nelson Algren. While it did pass the censors, and we'll get into this a little bit later on, it was an adult film noir with explicit overtones and subject matter. It walks the audience through the lives and relationships between mostly adult women engaging in the business of commercial prostitution at a stylish New Orleans brothel. The whole storyline for the film takes place in the early 1930s, where Texas farmer Dove Linkhorn, with what little money he has, makes his way to New Orleans to find his former love, that being artist Haley Gerard. He hasn't seen her in over 3 years and has no clue where she would be in the city or what she is doing at the time. Despite the fact that his original relationship with her only lasted 4 months, he still wants to marry her and loves her dearly, and he's only able to go looking for her now because of a change in circumstance that allowed him to do so. Up until now, he was taking care of his ailing father. When he finally does locate her, he finds out that she's a completely changed woman under changed circumstances. She's living and working at a place called the Doll House, a very high-end French Quarter brothel. What eventually happens with Dove is affected additionally by 3 women that he meets in his search for Hallie. The first is a teenager named Kitty Twist, who's a penniless drifter who is attracted to Dove herself. She will steal from anyone she meets, including Dove himself. The second is a widow named Teresina, who all on her own runs a truck stop, including a cafe, store, and gas station, all this on the outside edge of New Orleans. Teresina is willing to help Dove in his quest to find his true love, despite the fact that she's wanting him too as an integral part of her life. And the third woman is Jo Courtney. She's the grand madam of the Doll House, and she views her girls as property in the fact that she has gotten most of them out of dire circumstances that they were in. In addition, she treats Hallie as being very special and goes to extreme measures to keep her at the brothel under her control. Now, Jane Fonda wasn't the star attraction or even the prettiest actress that you'll see on the screen in this film, which was her third theatrical role. Capucine, that French beauty, was billed higher, along with the versatile Ann Baxter and the ever-lovely Joanna Moore, lighting the screen up as she always does, whether it was on TV or in film. But you just can't keep your eyes off Jane Fonda. She pretty much steals the show as her character of Kitty Twist from Paducah, who is raw and broken and hungry and on the road until she makes her way to New Orleans, where she'll prove a gal's always got other things that she can use to make a buck. Barbara Stanwyck is a standout as the madam of the Dollhouse brothel, as she also commands your attention. And then there's Lawrence Harvey, which I consider this one of his best roles. He's just buried his daddy on a small family ranch in Texas when he meets the feisty, amoral, light-fingered Kitty. Now you can notice that several contemporary reviewers mentioned that although the film was set in the 1930s, Capucine seems to be wearing contemporary fashions from 1962. The director has stated that that was because she was the live-in girlfriend of the producer, Charles Feldman, who decreed that despite the film's 1930s settings, she would be dressed in the latest Pierre Cardin designs. It's said that when Barbara Stanwyck had her first encounter with Lawrence Harvey on the set, lounging in his gold bathrobe and drinking champagne, she walked straight up to him and said, "All right, Larry, let's go. Get your ass in gear. We've got a picture to make, and I don't have time for prima donnas." After a moment of silence, this struck Harvey as highly amusing, and he burst into laughter. He and Stanwyck from then on immediately became friends and had a great relationship during and after the shoot. But Capucine was a totally different story. She objected to filming kissing scenes with Lawrence Harvey, feeling that he was not manly enough for her. After Harvey reportedly heard this, he replied, "Perhaps if you were more of a woman and a better actress, I would be more of a man, and that, honey, kissing you is like kissing the side of a beer bottle." Although largely filmed in New Orleans, it features scenes from the Thousand Oaks Meat Locker on what is now Thousand Oaks Boulevard in Thousand Oaks, California. Now, the opening title sequence and the ending sequence are excellent and were all designed by Saul Bass. Film reviewers universally praised Bass's titles, but they weren't as easy on the film. The director, Edward Dmytryk, also acknowledged that the titles were a masterpiece, which features a black cat filmed at ground level, prowling an urban landscape and picking a fight with a white cat. Bass stated that this cat's journey was a metaphor for the environment of poverty and despair experienced by the film's characters. At the end, Bass filmed that same black cat walking over newspaper headlines with a front-page story reporting that the people who ran the bordello were arrested and sentenced to many years in prison. This ending had been demanded by the Motion Picture Production Code, all done to appease those offended by the film's subject matter. Otherwise, the production code wasn't going to approve it. Go back and watch what I think is a fantastic film. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.